Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to show off the new Sixth Sense perk in Black Ops 3, which is a very difficult thing to say with braces. Pretty much anything with S is a big mess. Adult braces are so fun, but this is the perk that shows you the direction of nearby enemies on your minimap, and a lot of people say that this perk is OP, or that it's broken and that it doesn't work well enough. A lot of controversy about it, so I wanted to show it off today. If you haven't already noticed, I made the radar extra huge so that you can very clearly see this perk working when enemies are nearby. Didn't want you to have to squint, and it's a little bit harder to use, obviously, in-game when my radar's smaller, using the VMP with the silencer, even though that's probably not the best weapon, just because I was trying out all kind of fun things and just goofing around with weapons tonight. So the Sixth Sense perk is a tier 1 perk, or a blue perk, which means that it competes with the rest of what I would consider the most important perks in the game. If to choose this perk and not another one, you might have to give up Flak Jacket or Ghost or Overdrive or the Thruster Pack, which allows you to get faster movement, essentially kind of like the new Lightweight. So choosing this over one of those is a very big deal and will very much so dictate your playstyle, or of course using a wild card and using more of your creative class points on it. Very important. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, the distance at which this perk works and allows you to see enemies is very tiny. Like, I want to say maybe 4 meters, maybe less, maybe 2 or 3 meters. They have to be extremely close to you for the minimap to show their direction, and I feel that this perk was kind of designed to emulate Spider-Man's Spidey sense. It's called Sixth Sense, and really, if you're a comic book fan, if you know anything about Spider-Man, he has the Spidey sense. Anytime there's a clear, immediate incoming danger, he kind of senses it just like a millisecond or a fraction beforehand, and his reflexes will take over and he'll kind of save himself. He uses this to dodge projectiles and sometimes to tell if people is good and bad. This perk kind of reminds me of that because it's not a very good radar enhancer. It really doesn't let you know how many people are around you or what direction they're coming from. Whenever you see your radar or your minimap light up with this perk, you should already know that you're in the danger zone. Like, you're well within melee range or knife range or shotgun range, and that you could die any moment, and you've got mere fractions of a second to adjust your game plan and do something about it and survive. And that's kind of how the perk works. Stealth perks even further reduce this distance. I want to say it's hardwired, maybe Dead Silence as well, but they can take this distance of about 3 meters and take that down to about 1 or about half meters. So basically you have to be bumping butts with somebody for them to show up on the minimap. So you can kind of further reduce this when everything has a counter in this game, and that's how this works. So people would say, is this perk OP? I would say absolutely not. Not even by a long shot is this perk OP. And you'd say that, well why is it not OP? I mean, it's kind of like a lot of Slayers and Pub Stompers run this perk all the time so that people don't sneak up behind them. But I really think that almost everyone would be better off using your ears or your eyes or the game shadows or the context clues in games or the callouts to know if enemies are nearby than relying on the perk. Because, like I said, by the time you see the red flash on the minimap, it's almost going to be too late. It's like, again, it's like the spider sense. You get that last second, that last chance warning to do something about it, which you wouldn't be needing if you were listening carefully or paying attention to the shadows and lighting. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Definitely not in Team Deathmatch or any kind of domination or objective or respawn mode. However, there is a caveat to this. It could be a big deal in Search and Destroy. Search and Destroy is kind of like the outlier for all these perks that are not OP. They perform very differently in S&D. Imagine if you are trying to do a ninja defuse and somebody has this perk and you get too close to them and they know you're there and they spin around and spray you and you die. Ninja defuse ruined, elite strategies gone. Maybe not the best thing to happen to you. Maybe you're camping in a corner and somebody else is running Dead Silence, and normally they would have been able to walk by and you would never have heard them, but with this perk it'll kind of light up on your minimap and you know where they are and you can go kill them. It can make a big difference in Search and Destroy. So the question is, should this perk be buffed? Because believe it or not, most people agree that it's not OP, and a lot of people want it to be buffed to be more useful in TDM and game modes like that, and I'm gonna say no. I think it's a niche perk, and it's fine the way it is, and it certainly doesn't need to be made any stronger. Because if you make a perk like this any stronger than it is now, it could get into the broken zone. It could get to the crutch perk zone. It could get to the everybody's got their radar lighting up all the time zone, and that's just something that nobody wants. It's just fine as it is now. It'll be niche in Search and Destroy. Not even everybody's going to run an S&D, so there's no need to make it too strong. Guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.